Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to daily current affairs session. So we'll see the current affairs of yesterday and today. Yesterday was a public holiday, Babu Jagjeevan Ram Jayanti. So today we will cover the news of yesterday as well as today, right? So before we go into discussion, we will see what are all the articles that we are going to discuss. A very small article, a small change in the birth registration. So a 2-minute article. So we'll see about that as well, what changes has been made. Birth registration, and then symbols of political parties. So this is very important and a little bit lengthy one. So what are the criteria? Many times it's been asked from the polity, what are all the parties can be categorized as national parties, or what parties can be categorized as state parties, and what are all the benefits. So we will see that in detail. Then Agni Prime missile was tested successfully a few days back, 2 days back. So we'll take up what actually is Agni missile, and then we will also see what is the speciality of Agni Prime missile. And then Rakhi Gari. So the excavations that were made in the Rakhi Gari, a site of Harappan civilization, was being added into the NCERT 12th class history, right? So we'll see that as well. This is very important as part of Harappan civilization, that is ancient history. Any type of questions can be asked from the Harappan sites, right? Then green hydrogen. We'll see that as well, what is the context and what actually is green hydrogen, why we are pushing it, right? We will also briefly see National Hydrogen Mission that has been launched in the last year budget. Then liquidity adjustment facility. So RBI has maintained the same rate of repo, right, without any changes yesterday. So we'll see that as well in detail from very basic level. And then CAR-T cell therapy to cure the cancer, and it was launched, the first indigenously gene therapy by the President, Honorable President, day before yesterday. We will see that as well. And finally, Forbes World Billionaire List, and the very factual in nature, will not take too much time. We will see that as well, and then we will go to the practice questions. So there are no factual pointers as such, right? So that is those are the articles that we are going to discuss. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the discussion, right? Yeah, very good evening, Srinath and Malini. Welcome to the session. Welcome, Ramya. So let's start with the first article, very small article. The context is government wants to record the religion of both the parents when the registration of birth is happening for the newborn child, right? So that is the context, a very small article, as I said. What is birth registration? So once any child is born in the Indian, right, in the Indian territory, so there has to be a registration that yes, this child has born in India and is a citizen of India, right? So birth is a registration that takes place, birth registration is a registration that takes place immediately of the birth, right? And it is a right of the child. It is a right of any person to have a birth certificate if it is a citizen of India or any other country. Of course, they have their own rules. And this birth registration has to happen within 21 days of the birth, right? So after the birth, within 21 days, they have to register without any fine, right? So that certificates are being given by the medical officer within that hospital itself. No need to go to the government offices and all. So the hospital itself is giving anyway, right? If they were not able to register within 21 days, they can register it in 1 year by paying a nominal late fee with the concerned authorities, right? And also if they don't able to register within 1 year, they can also take birth certificate after 1 year also, but they have to reach out to the district magistrate. So it is a highest level. So there is a lot of permissions and all. So that's why it's always better to have a registration as soon as possible. Now, what is the change made by the government or Ministry of Home Affairs or the Office of Register, which takes care of the census? So this is important for us, that now the registration, when the birth registration, the child registration is being happened, now both the parents has to mention the religion, like mother religion as well as father religion. Now it is just a family religion. It takes the the row that talks about is what is the family religion, but now it is individually asking about the father as well as mother. So there is a lot of intentions behind it. We no need to go into that political aspect and all, but anyway, both the parents has to register their religion when they are taking the birth certificate. So very simple article, that's all. I don't think there is a lot of doubt also. Now let's move to the most important articles, that the next 3-4 articles are required a little bit detailed discussion, right? So the second article is symbols for political parties. We have a number of political parties, right? We have national parties, we have state parties, we have local parties, number of political parties are there. Then how Election Commission will give the symbols to these parties? Symbol is the most important thing for any political party to participate in the elections, right? So there should not be any superimposition, there should not be any confusion, so that the people, the citizens who has the right have the clear picture to whom they want to vote, right? So the context why we have taken this is, recently Election Commission has allocated a new symbol, mic symbol, for the Nam Tamilar Kutchi, right? So this is not very important unless until you are from Tamil Nadu region, you can remember, but for other exams, central exams or any other state exams, the details that we are going to discuss in the coming slides are very, very important, right? So the new symbol was allocated. Now the context comes, from where this power derives to the Election Commission to declare or given any symbol to any political party, right? So that is one important thing to be remembered. Election symbols and Reservation Allotment Order 1968. So this is the rule, regulation or a provision which Election Commission derive its power to allocate the political symbol to any party, right? So this is very important. They may ask you directly from which, there are number of acts, number of rules, so they will give 3-4 options and you have to remember that this is the power that is being given to the EC to declare symbols. And a party is recognized as national and state. Before going into the discussion, let me give you the brief idea how the political parties are registered. So any any political parties, this is very important to be understood. Any political parties are registered or categorized into two types: unregistered, right? So they haven't registered with the Election Commission. And one more point I want to tell: any political party which has launched in India has to registered under Representation of People Act 1951. Immediately after independence, right, 1947, and we made a Republic of India, that is Constitution came into the picture in 1950, right? And after that we want to conduct the elections for parliament, state legislatures and number of other things. We want to conduct the elections that time, right? So that is how the democracy works. And because for that purpose, to conduct the elections, there were two acts passed by the parliament: Representation of People Act 1951, and before that there was a 1950 Representation of People Act 1950. 1950 talks about the elections, number of seats, all those things, and Representation of People Act 1951 talks about the election process, political parties, all those things. So any party, anyone who want to launch a party has to register under Representation of People Act. Don't confuse with this thing. This is just for the symbols, but the parties has to register with the register under Representation of People Act. So unregistered party, they don't register under this act, RPA Act 1951, and registered parties will be registered under this RPA Act 1951. So these parties will get benefit because they are registered with the under Representation of People Act, and EC know, Election Commission of India know that this party how they are working, and also they are given with lot of benefits, right? No need to worry about knowing all the details, what are the benefits and all. There is a lot of details about it. So this is the categorization of unregistered political parties and then registered political parties. And under the registered political parties, there are one more classification relevant for us: state parties and national parties. So this is the subcategorization under registered political parties. We have to know what is the criteria to become a state registered party, and also one more category, that is other registered parties. There are three classifications: state, national parties, and then other than the state and national parties. So these two classifications we will see in detail. That is been asked many times in many of the exams, right? So other registered parties, they did not get sufficient amount of seats or voting percentage in the previous elections. So they are not eligible to the state election, state parties or national parties. That's why we are calling them as other registered parties, right? So is this clear that we have political parties under that those who are registered under RPA Act are considered as a registered parties, and which are not registered under RPA, it is unregistered parties. And within registered parties, we have a criteria classification based on the amount of votes they get. We will see that classification, right? So state parties, national parties, and other registered parties. So this is the classification. Any doubt in this? Yeah. Now let's move to the criteria. If I have launched a party A, I have launched a party A in 2019, okay, and I did not get proper seats. I did not get proper seats, right? So 0 seats I got. I have contested in 20-30 seats, but I did not get any seat, and my percentage is also just 1% of vote, right? And other party B has got 15 seats and also 10% more. I am just giving you an example that yes, party B is superior and party A is not superior. So here the seriousness of the party is being taken as a criteria to give the status as state or nation, something like that. Here what you have to understand the difference, that certain people will just launch political parties without any seriousness, and if we keep on encouraging that, then Indian political system will become very complex and it is very difficult for ECI to regulate these parties. So that's why there are certain criteria given by Election Commission of India, right, to give the status of state party or national party, that we need to know for our examination, right? Any doubts in this? Okay, so let's move to the criteria of the recognition of a state party. If any party, for example, this party want to become a state party, or if a party A has to become a state party, then they have to satisfy any of these 3 conditions, not all the 3 conditions, but any one is fine. First criteria is winning 1 Lok Sabha seat for every 25 seats. For example, a state, West Bengal, take example, there are less than 34 or 35, but anyway let's take it as a 50 for our easiness to understand. So West Bengal state has a 50 seats, the Lok Sabha seats. Then how many I need to get? Winning 1 Lok Sabha seat for every 25 seats. So 25 into 2, right? So I need to get 2 seats, because for every 25 seats I need to get 1. So 50 I need to get 2, or 3% of the legislative assembly seats. Okay, we are taking care of state parties, fine. So let's take it as a 250 seats, assembly seats, don't consider it as a Lok Sabha. It is state 250, assembly seats are there, not Lok Sabha, don't confuse. So there is one more criteria called national party, there Lok Sabha seats will come. So West Bengal state has 250. So for every 25 I need to get 1. That means for 250 I need to get 25 seats. So if I get 25 seats in the election of assembly for West Bengal, then my party can be considered as a state party. That is one thing. Or 3% of the legislative assembly seats, 3 by 100 into 250. So 55s, 52s, right? So 5 3 is 7.5. 7.5. So 8 seats you can take. Whichever is larger, whichever is bigger, not smaller, whichever is bigger they need to satisfy, right? So I need to get 25 seats, or I need to get this 3% of the total seat, whichever is bigger. That is one criteria. If I get that, then I will get a state symbol, right? Next one, winning 1 Lok Sabha or 2 assembly seats. So the 250 are assembly seats, and let's take 50 as Lok Sabha seats. So total we have 250 seats of assembly, right? And then 50 of Lok Sabha in West Bengal. Take example of West Bengal. This is important criteria, though it seems to be confusing, but yes, you have to understand and then you have to mug up also, right? In the exam you will confuse. So try to understand. We are taking one example, West Bengal, which is having 250 assembly seats and 50 Lok Sabha seats. Out of that, for every 25 seats I need to get one, or 3% of legislative assembly seats, whichever is higher. So here 25 seats and 3% is 3% of 250 is just 8. So I need to get 25. Or if not this criteria, I can also get winning 1 Lok Sabha or 2 assembly seats. Out of this 250, I need to get how many assembly seats? 2 assembly seats or 1 Lok Sabha out of 50. Any one of the criteria can be satisfied. Along with that, 6% of votes polled, total vote sum, say for example 1 crore has been polled. Out of that, 6%, 6 lakhs I need to get. So this, any of this Lok Sabha 1 seat or assembly 2 seats, along with that I need to get the 6% of total votes polled. Then also I can get the state assembly, state party recognition. So any this category or this category, or securing 8% of votes polled in the general elections. So I did not get any seats. I have participated in 250 assemblies, and also I have participated in 50 Lok Sabha, but I did not get any vote. I did not get any seat. I did not get any single seat out of these things, but I got a 9% of total votes polled in that general elections in any assembly or Lok Sabha, the total. So if I get this also, then also I can be given with the state party status, right? So these are the 3 conditions which has to be satisfied, any one of the criteria, to get the state political party. Any doubt in this? There may be little confusing, but try to understand. I have given with one example. It is very, very important to be remembered. Many times it's been asked in the exam, right? So any of these 3 criteria has to be satisfied. Now, symbols are allocated to the political parties by Election Commission of India based on the symbols order or election symbols order that we were discussing here. Election symbols order. So based on these rules, Election Commission of India gives the symbol different. There are number of symbols. So based on that they will give. But anyway, a recognized political party. I have just told you that we have a registered party and we have a unregistered party. So recognized political party has a reserved symbol. So here understand this one. We have a registered, unregistered, right? Within registered, we have state party, national party and other political parties, as I said. So those are also called as recognized political party. Here recognition means state or nation or other recognized parties, right? So this, if any of these things of recognition comes, nation or state, those will get a separate preference that the political symbol is reserved for them. So no other political party can use that throughout the state or the nation. If it is a national party, nobody can use that symbol. So it becomes confidence for the political party. There won't be any confusion because a single symbol was there. If it is not satisfying any of these criteria we are saying, it is an unregistered, then they won't get the all single symbol for all the constituencies. They may get for those constituencies and it may give to other people. For example, party A got recognition, party B got unrecognition. They did not satisfy the condition. So this political party may get a symbol, say for example tumbler, for one constituency. In other constituency, B is not participating in the elections. There are 250 and out of the 200 it is participating and 50 it is not participating. In that 50, they may give, election commission may give this symbol to other people, independents and all. So again there will be a confusion. For those who are getting proper criteria, right, they are satisfying and they are getting a recognition as state or national party, then this symbol will not be given to any of the persons, even if it is even if it is not participating in any of those things. So that symbol will not be given to anyone else. This is the benefit for those parties which are satisfying the certain conditions, right? So this is what we want to discuss here. Any confusion in this? You can ask if there is any slight confusion. Try to understand If you are not able to understand this, try to do it in the later time also, just pass it and understand with the example on the paper, because they are asking this question many times in the exam, right? So for registered but unrecognized party, so they have registered but they did not get the status of state or national party, then one of the free symbols will be allocated. So any of the free symbols, there is no fixed symbol, they did not satisfy this criteria, that's why they did not get the fixed symbol, so they may give with any free symbol, right? So that is the thing. So the same thing was elaborated here, you can read it. Now comes the national party. We have seen the recognition for the state party, same way we have a recognition for the national party as well. So how to get a national party symbol? BJP, Congress, so these are all the national parties, and TDP, DMK, AADMK, these are all state parties, right? Now we have seen the conditions to be satisfied by for the state parties. Let's see the criteria for the national parties as well. So this is also been asked in exams many times. So if you want to launch a political party and if you want to get a national status, then any of these conditions has to be satisfied. A party's candidates in a minimum of 4 seats must get. So for example, there are 28 states in India, and out of the 28 states, they need to get minimum of 4 seats, and distributing over, so here read this, a party's candidate in minimum of 4 states must get at least 6% of the total votes. So the total votes polled in that Lok Sabha elections, they need to get 6% of votes, 6% total. Say for example 1 crore has been polled, out of that 6 lakhs they need to get, and out of that 6% they need to share across 4 states, right? So in each of the state they need to get 6% of votes. In the state A, state B, state C, state D, they need to get the 6% votes in all the states. In each of the state they need to get the 6% votes. So this is, in addition to that, they should have won at least 4 seats. So I am a political party A, so I got 6% of votes in each of the 4 states. Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, I got 6% in all the states. Similarly, along with that I need to also win at least 4 seats. Then I will be categorized as a national party. Next, if not that condition, then a minimum of 2% of the total seats in the Lok Sabha. So Lok Sabha we have 545 seats, right? So out of that 2%, 2 by 100, approximately 10 seats or 11 seats I need to get, and that should distribute over at least 3 states. So Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka. So at least this 10% seat should be distributed among the 3 states. Then also I will get the national party status. This is one thing, and if not this above 2 conditions, at least in 4 states I need to be a state party. So the BJP, take example, has won more than 4 states. Even Congress has won more than 4 states. So that is the criteria. If it is a state party in 4 states, then also they will get the, in 4 states, then also they will get the national party status. So any of these 3 criteria can be considered as a national party. So this is a little bit confusing and factual in nature, but try to understand with an example on the paper, you will get in a much better way, right? So as of now in 2024, we have 6 national parties: Bahujan Samaj Party, BJP, and then Communist Party of India, Marxist, then Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, and National People's Party. So these are the 6 parties that are recognized under a national party status, right? So we have seen how political parties are divided, and then they are categorized registered, unregistered, and within registered parties we have recognized and other parties, right? Recognized means state and national, and others is which haven't satisfied the conditions. Now we have also discussed what are the conditions to be state parties and what are the conditions to be the national parties. So that is required to be remembered for our exam, right? So as I said, it is a little bit confusing, but you have to remember with the example on the paper. Telangana BRS is a state party because they got a number of seats, they got a huge number of seats, but they did not get the seats across 4 states. So you can see here we can discuss example of BRS itself. So they got the number of seats within Telangana, but in other states they did not get any seats, right? So at least 66% seats should get in 4 states, not just Telangana, but at least Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, at least in 4 states they need to get. If not, they cannot be considered as a national party. They are just a state party, right? Similarly, if not that condition, then at least 2% of the total seats in Lok Sabha, 545 out of the 2%, right? So approximately 11 seats they can win in the Lok Sabha, but those 11 seats should not be from single state, but it should be from not less than 3 states. So at least these 11 seats that they won should be distributed among 3 seats at least. So 5 from Telangana, 4 from Andhra Pradesh and 2 more from Kerala. Then it can be categorized as a national party. Or it should have been declared as a state party in the 4 states. So state party criteria we have seen, these are the criteria, right? So if these are satisfied in the assembly elections, this here we are taking the Lok Sabha election as a complete picture or criteria. But if it is a state party in 4 states satisfying the assembly elections, then also they can get the national party status, right? So that is the criteria. Try to understand them with an example. I suggest you to take pen and paper, take seats, number of seats, and then try to categorize these things that we have discussed, so we will get more clarity, right? Next one, Agni Prime missile. So next generation Prime missile was successfully tested by DRDO in the Odisha coast 2 days back. So that's why we have taken this article. Now, what are ballistic missiles? Before knowing what is Agni missiles and Agni Prime missile, let's understand the ballistic missile. What actually is a ballistic missile? We have a earth, right? Around it we have the atmosphere, the surrounding it. Around the whole earth we have an atmosphere. Here we have a layers, right? Mesosphere, then we have stratosphere. Sorry, first one is troposphere and then stratosphere, and then let me give you the actual diagram above earth. Just to visualize yourself that above you there is an atmosphere, okay? So you are standing here on the earth, this is earth. So till 18 kilometers we have troposphere, okay? After that we have stratosphere, and then we have mesosphere, and then we have ionosphere, and then we have exosphere, right? So these are the layers of the atmosphere above us. Now what is ballistic missile about? Ballistic missile is a one which is launched from the surface or anyway. It can be from water, it can be from airway, but what it works is it goes above the atmosphere complete. Here we have an exosphere, the outer space. So it will go till the outer space, exosphere, and then it will this launch will come out. This is the ammunition, the fissile material. So this you can see here. Here is the firework, the topmost we have kept here the firework which want to be delivered to the enemy territory. So it will go till the exosphere, the outer layer of atmosphere. From here the rocket or the launcher will come, and this, the ammunition that we are sending, the target is already fixed here, say for example in China. So this will go directly here. So it is a fixed fire and forget missile. So it will go to the uppermost layers of the atmosphere, and then this launcher will come aside, and this then will target to the exact enemy where the target was fixed. So these are the ballistic missiles. They are parabolic in nature, the shape, and it goes beyond the atmosphere, and then the rocket will separate, the launcher will separate, and then ammunition will directly go to the target. So those are called as the ballistic missiles. That's how they work, right? And they are self-guided. As I said, once you launch, they themselves know where is the target, what height to be reached exactly to put on those enemy territory and all. So that's how the science has developed. And it can be launched from aircraft or submarines or land, from anywhere we can launch this. So this is the mechanism of ballistic missiles. Now what is Agni Prime? We have series of Agni missiles. You might have listened this word Agni missiles many times in the news. These are nothing but category of ballistic missiles, and Agni 1, Agni 2, Agni 3, Agni 4 are division based on the amount of ammunition it is carrying. So you can see here Agni 1, Agni 2, Agni 3, Agni 4, Agni 5, and these are medium range ballistic missile. MRBM means medium range ballistic missiles, where there is only one stage. So as how rocket is having 3-4 stages, liquid fuel, solid fuel. So first it will come, then second part will come, and finally the satellite will go and sit on the orbit. Similarly, the missiles are also having different stages. Agni 1 missile was a medium range, only one stage was there, there is no number of stages, and it can reach maximum of 700 to 1200 kilometers. So if you take example, if you are standing from New Delhi, it can go till 1200 kilometers at max. Beyond that it cannot go, right? So the warhead, the ammunition, the fissile material that we are, nuclear material, whatever may be, that we are keeping to target the enemy, can manage up to 1000 kgs only. It can weigh only 1000 kgs. Next, Agni 2, we have a intermediate range. It has 2.5 stages, and it can go till 2000 to 3000 kilometers of distance, and weight it only carries 1000, right? So this is Agni 2. Similarly, we have a number of categories. See, these are all you need to know. Agni 5 is an intercontinental ballistic missile. That means it can cross even the continent. It can cross the Asian continent also. So the kilometer is 5500 to 8000 kilometers it can go and hit the enemy. And the war ammunition, it can carry 1500 kgs of ammunition it can carry and target the enemy territory, right? So these are the categorization of Agni missiles that we have already launched. Now comes the Agni Prime, which is aimed to target in a short ranges. So the whole process will complete in within seconds, right? And it is not for a longer distance, but is for a shorter distance. So this was targeted or launched by DRDO 2 days back. It is a medium range nuclear capable surface to surface ballistic missile. Understand the words. Medium range means, you can go back. So this is the range, right? So it was increased to 2000. It was increased to 2000, yes. So 1000 to 2000 kilometers it can carry, and it is a nuclear capable. That means nuclear missile it can carry, right? Nuclear ammunitions it can carry, and surface to surface, same as the ballistic missiles. And it was first tested in 2021. This is also important, right? So it was developed by DRDO, Defense Research Organization, Developmental Organization, and it has a capacity, as it is a medium range, it is approximately 1000 to 2000 kilometers only it can go and reach the target, right? So it is a lighter of all earlier Agni series missiles. We already have a Agni 1, Agni 2, Agni 3, Agni 4, Agni 5, even Agni 6 also we have, but this Agni Prime is the most lighter one. So immediately it can target within short term it can target the enemy. So it is like a emergency conditions we can use this, right? So any doubts in this? What is ballistic missile and what are Agni series, and then what is Agni Prime? So these are all facts you need to remember for the exam. Any doubts in this? Yeah. So let's move to the next one, Rakhi Gari. So it is a Harappan site. So let's go little bit into the history, then I will come to the Rakhi Gari. So you can see here in the map, in the Indian subcontinent map. Great, thank you Malini for the response. So this is, even Pakistan was part of India, right, until 1947, June 14th when they got independence, August 14, and we got it on August 15. So one day before us they got the independence. The whole Pakistan was part of India only, including the Bangladesh in ancient India. So here in the northwest India, from approximately 2400 BC, now we are in, right? So 2024 AD Anno Domini, now it's been BC before Christ. So 2400 BC to 1600 BC. In this period, we have got a very urbanized civilization in the northwest India. So like how we are architecting the whole urban areas, like proper drainage and then buildings, proper windows, transport system. So everything was planned. This is a modern way, isn't it? So this is the modern society. But this type of modern society was existing in the Indian subcontinent way back 4,000 years back. So now 2024 we are in, and then add 2000 more to go back to the BC. So 4000 or 4400 years before itself, we got an urbanized society. And these excavations were started during the British period in 1920, 1915s in that times. So they were astonished that in this part there was a lot of sites which were like urbanized cities. So in those days itself, they were able to see the drainage system, the modern drainage systems, and then the modern houses, right? So these are all the sites of that has been discovered, right? We have Indus as a site, and then we have Harappa as one site, and then we have Kotji, we have number of Lothal. So approximately more than 50 sites has been excavated, and still excavation is going on to know what type of people they were and how they were discovered, right? So how they have lived those times. The all excavations are still going on, and it is a very rich culture comparing with the Mesopotamia. So in the Europe region, like mummies you might have seen in the movies, like how they was developed, they are also urbanized societies. So we can compare those days, only 2 or 3 such type of societies were there. And India has such one prominent civilization, that is Indus Valley civilization, right? In this, there are number of sites that has been excavated, right? We have a Indus, and the Harappa site was the first to excavate. That's why we have named it as a Harappan civilization. But anyway, we have more than 50 sites, and Rakhigarhi was one such site. This was the most recent site that has been excavated by our archaeologists, and they have lot of proofs to tell that the people are not came from any other countries but of indigenous to India. Before knowing what type of excavations have been made from Rakhigarhi, let's see the context, and we will also see where is Rakhigarhi and what type of elements that are located before knowing the excavations, right? So the context is, there were some excavations made in the Rakhigarhi in 2020 and 21. Those excavations have proved that the people who resided in these regions were not came from outside of India or Indian subcontinent. They were indigenous. They have born here. The whole civilization was indigenous to India. That's what it have proved recently from the DNA analysis of the bones that we got from the Rakhigarhi. That's why this phenomena is being added into the NCERT books of 12th class. So 12th class history books, government is going to add that Rakhigarhi site, we have a DNA analysis, and those people are indigenous to India. They did not came anywhere outside of Indian subcontinent. That's what the context talks about, right? So what is Rakhigarhi? This also we need to know the site. Many times has been asked in the exams where it is located, in which state, what type of excavations has been made. So all these things, there are a lot of facts to be understood. So it is an archaeological site which is located in the Hisar district of Haryana. So this is very important fact. This was excavated from the Haryana, present Haryana state in Hisar district. And this particular place is located on the Gagara and Hakra river. Gagara is a tributary of Ganga river. Similarly, many of the cities of Harappan were located on the river bank, because water is needed, isn't it, for agriculture and all. I am not discussing the whole Harappan civilization. There is a lot of agriculture activities like cultivation of crops, rice, even rearing of animals. There is a lot of things. So that's why most of the cities are located on the river banks. For example, take Harappa city. Harappa is located on the Ravi river, and Mohenjo-daro site was located on the Indus river. So similarly, this particular Rakhigarhi is located on the Gagara and Hakra river plain, which is a tributary of Ganga river. This is important to be remembered. Also, this is the largest site till now excavated by the archaeologists. This is the largest Indus Valley civilization site or Harappan site. So this is also important, and this was excavated by Amarendra Nath. Many times asked, like previously, who have excavated Harappan sites, who have excavated Mohenjo-daro site. There are a number of questions like that. So Rakhi Gari was excavated by Amarendranath and the proofs has been collected, right? Now what are the major findings to be remembered for our exam? So that is also important. From the Rakhi Gari I am talking about, right? So mature Harappan phase was represented with the township, like modern ways, which were the buildings were built with burnt bricks, which are very strong in nature. So the Harappan civilization was divided into majorly 3 phases: the early phase, and then mature phase, and then later phase, the last years. So this Rakhi Gari belongs to the mature Harappan civilization site, and it was proved that they have very good township planning in those mature period. So this is one proof that was given by the Rakhi Gari. Similarly, a cylindrical shape seal was discovered from this Rakhi Gari, which have Harappan characters on 5 Harappan characters on one side. So seal is of 2 sides, right? So the 5 Harappan characteristics on one side, and on another side we have a alligator like crocodile. So this seal was discovered from the Rakhi Gari, very, very important. So they may ask you in the exam, right? Next one, the ceramic industry was represented in the Rakhi Gari site. Ceramics means you all know copper, all these things working in terms of bangles or beads or pots, anything, right? So most of the color was used as red in this site. That is also important. Also 2 female skeletons were discovered from this Rakhi Gari site, where they have lot of jewelry made of gold, right? Except iron, they have used almost all metals in those 4000 years before itself. So jewelry, beads, pottery, lot of things were kept along with the women and they were buried, right? So this is one special feature discovered from the Rakhi Gari. Next, blades, terracotta, bangles, lot of things, animal figures, all these things were discovered from this Rakhi Gari site in the excavations through carbon dating, right? So that is the thing. And one more important thing is, recently the DNA analysis was made for the skeletons at the Rakhi Gari, right? So DNA stays for longer period, right? We can easily collect it from even hair, bones and many of our body parts. So this was collected and it was proved that this DNA is not matching to any of the races in the world. That means what? It is indigenous to India. The people are from Indian origin. They did not come from any of the territories. So that is, this point is being added into the NCERT by the government, right? So this is what the thing. I mean, earlier they were saying that these Harappans were not of Indians. They were coming from the Russia region or steppe climate. So there is a lot of debates going on. But with this debate, it was proved that they were origin from the Indian subcontinent itself. So that is what the excavation has proved. Any doubts in this? Fine. So you can go back to the little bit historical thing to visualize such a greatness has happened in the Indian subcontinent, and the questions from Harappan civilization is a compulsory one in any of the exams that you write with the ancient history as part of your syllabus, right? So you need to know each and every site and know the history, what type of people are, what type of agriculture they have made, what type of religion, what type of architecture they developed. Everything is very, very important for your exams, right? So I just discussed about the Rakhi Gari. Next one, green hydrogen. Next article, green hydrogen. The context is, okay, great. So the context is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has announced 496 crore budget for the scheme of developing the green hydrogen. Whatever the green hydrogen projects are there, those are being supported with the 496 crore amount of money. So don't confuse, let's go what actually is green hydrogen and all. Then you will come to know why government is pushing for green hydrogen, right? So let's understand the actual discussion of green hydrogen, then you will understand the context as well. So let's know what actually is green hydrogen. You know hydrogen has a atomic number 1, right? So atomic number 1, hydrogen is a colorless gas. So this green hydrogen does not mean it is a green in color, understand this. Hydrogen itself is a colorless gas, but this green acronym is given for not the color of the hydrogen, but the process involved in the production of hydrogen is a green one. Green one in the sense it is a sustainable one. So the process involved in producing the hydrogen is a climate friendly process. That's why we are calling it as a green hydrogen. The hydrogen that produced from the process is not affecting any of the climate elements. So that's why we are calling it as a green hydrogen. It is not green color, but because of the process that is sustainable in nature. This green hydrogen refers to produced, you may ask, sir, how it is produced? It is produced from H2O, right? We have water, through hydrolysis or using the electrolysis. So we have an electrolysis rod, and then we send this water, and then it releases O2 and then hydrogen. So no amount of CO2 is involved here. So that's why we call it as a green hydrogen. You can see this diagram. Yeah. Yes. So observe here the process, then we will discuss what actually green hydrogen, what is the government objectives and all. Now this electrolysis is used, this electrolysis process is used where the water is sent into this, and this reaction, the technical process you no need to worry, there is the electrolysis process where this water H2O can be converted into O2 and then H2. So this we will collect this hydrogen and it can be used as a fuel in the vehicles directly. So this hydrogen can directly be used in the future. There is a possibility through in engines we can directly put hydrogen and we can use as a fuel, right? So this hydrogen and oxygen is produced. There is no CO2. If you observe here, there is no CO2 involved in this, just water inside, input, and then leading to the oxygen and hydrogen, right? So this is the process. Now the green hydrogen, as I said, the process is the environmental friendly, right? This is considered as a complete climate friendly one, as there is no involvement of CO2. So that is one important point to be remembered. And there are two more processes which we are following. The most of the hydrogen productions that we are doing now are based on this grey hydrogen. Observe here, try to understand this the same way how we have discussed about the electrolysis process. In the present scenario, we are developing the hydrogen through grey hydrogen. It means we have a natural gas here. So natural gas mainly consists of the CH4, the methane gas. So this natural gas is pumped into the process and then it leads to the formation of CO2 and then hydrogen, H2 and then CO2. There is no oxygen involved, but CO2 is being produced through this natural gas CH4 methane. We are giving as an input and leading to the hydrogen formation. But in this process, we are developing the CO2, carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. So that's why it is called as a grey hydrogen. The output hydrogen that has been developed through this process is called as a grey hydrogen, which is not an environmental friendly one. Next comes the blue hydrogen. This has also been asked in the exam many times. Recently in civil services we have got a green hydrogen question. I will show you at the end. So blue hydrogen, same process, natural gas was the input, hydrogen was output, but CO2 is not released into the atmosphere. CO2 is not released into the atmosphere, but it is stored underground. We will pump the CO2 into the underground, into the earth, and after many years it will solidify and it will give some fuel elements, right? So it is not being released into the atmosphere. That is called as the blue hydrogen. Blue hydrogen does not mean it is produced from the oceans, don't confuse with it. So it is just that CO2 we are pumped into the underground and it is partially climate friendly. But anyway, as CO2 is going into the earth, there may be harmful nature. And finally we comes the green hydrogen, where we are not using the natural gas also, we are just using the H2O, water, and sent into the input and finally generating the hydrogen. And there is no CO2, but oxygen is generated, which is a good for us. Oxygen amount should be higher in the atmosphere, right? So this is the process of grey hydrogen which we are having now, and then we are also trying for blue hydrogen, and then finally we are developing the green hydrogen in the next coming few years, which is a environmental friendly. So this is the process of production of green hydrogen. Now government is also trying, they have launched National Green Hydrogen Mission, right? So last year itself they have launched. These objectives are important. You have to remember these facts. That's how the examiner find out. So at least 5 million metric tons of green hydrogen has to be produced annually. That is one objective of the National Green Hydrogen Mission. Second one, we need electrolyzers also. As I said, we need electrolyzer to divide H2O into hydrogen and oxygen. We first need these electrolyzers. So 60 to 100 watt electrolyzers has to be produced every year. That is the second objective of the mission. And third one, 50 million metric tons of CO2 is going to be reduced. Because of using the green hydrogen or producing the green hydrogen, there is no involvement of CO2 into the atmosphere. So we are saving 50 million metric tons of CO2 not being released into the atmosphere. That is the third objective. And fourth one, 1 lakh crore import savings. As we have a lot of fuel importing from other countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq and many other countries, because we don't have a crude oil resource. That's why we are importing. Now if we could able to convert into or shift towards the green hydrogen, then we no need to import lot of fuel from the other countries. So here 1 lakh crores can be saved through this mission. That is also the objective of the government. Then 120 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity for green hydrogen will be developed. Finally, 8 lakh crore investments are going to be made through the National Hydrogen Mission. See, practically think, when government is going to encourage national green or green hydrogen, so there will be a lot of machinery, and for that machinery we need lot of employees as well. So it is also creating the employment, right? So we need to develop the skills among the people. So these are all the objectives of National Green Mission to be remembered for our exam, right? So any doubts in this? They are using drinking water or seawater. As of now, we are using the the pH value 7, right? So seawater has certain salts. So we can also use salt water. In the future, we are going to use the seawater also, but it needs lot of cost. It involves lot of cost. We need to remove the salts before making into the input as the normal water, right? So as of now, we are using the normal water. In future, yes, we will do when the costs of that technology that we can deploy will reduce, right? So that is about the green hydrogen mission. Next article is from economics, very, very important. Any doubt in this? Okay, great. So next article is liquidity adjustment facility. So when we are starting with this article, it may be a little bit confusing, but once we discuss the mechanism, try to revise it again and you will remember for sure. So green hydrogen, for example, the whole process you understood what actually is grey hydrogen and then blue hydrogen and then green hydrogen. Why we are pushing towards the green hydrogen, we understood, just because to remove the CO2, the role of CO2, right? That's how you need to understand the concepts, and of course the facts that I have shown you, these are all are to mug up, right? So understand the concept, then whatever the facts are involved, you will easily connect it to the concept, right? So the news article, this was taken from Hindu, Indian Express and many more. Here the Monetary Policy Committee of Reserve Bank of India has kept the rates unchanged. So there is a lot of confusion. If you are already a student who prepared economics, then fine, you might have understood. But if not, try to understand, listen here, I will tell you with a very detailed manner, right? Let's understand what actually is liquidity adjustment facility and monetary policy, repo rate, everything we will discuss here, right? So just understand the context that there is no change in the RBI measure, and why there is no change, that also we will see. First, what is liquidity adjustment facility? Here this is a market in the sense not vegetable market that you are thinking, it is all the Indian market, whatever the transactions, the economic market I am talking about, and this is the RBI. So here whenever there is a GDP growing, whenever there is a GDP, the number of production has been increasing in the economy, there will also be the increase in prices of the goods. For example, this pen, you are buying it for 10 rupees. If government is supporting with lot of loans for the companies and all, then they will aim to produce a lot, and the people are also getting lot of money. Take example of the government. Government is giving subsidies to the poor people, like whatever older people or poor people, with the pensions of 10,000 per month. The poor people have the money now and they are ready to buy the goods. Earlier they don't have money, so they are not buying it. So the companies will sell it for just 5 rupees. But as the people got the money within their hands, many of the people are ready to buy those goods, this pen. Now companies, what they will do? They will increase the price to 10 rupees. So this is called the inflation, increase in the price of the good, right? So that is called as the inflation. Now this RBI will always be there as a central bank to control the prices of the goods. The price from 5 rupees to 10 rupees will not be accepted, because in final run or in long term run, the poor people will exhaust their money and they cannot buy this pen at 10 rupees. 5 rupees is fine. Anyway, they will buy it, right? So based on their earnings. So this price control mechanism, what RBI manages, is called as the liquidity adjustment facility. Liquidity means having more money in the market. So this money RBI can squeeze, they can take this money and they can also release money whenever they want. And how they will do that, we will see, right? So liquidity adjustment facility is a mechanism with central bank on how to control or to regulate the flow of money into the market. So that is called as the liquidity adjustment facility, right? I am repeating again, this is a mechanism where central bank can regulate the liquidity or the amount of money that should be prevalent in the market. So that is called as the liquidity adjustment facility, and this mechanism was recommended by Narasimhan Committee in 1998. This mechanism was put forward by Narasimhan Committee in 1998. Very important fact to be understood. So it is a monetary policy. Monetary means RBI, fiscal means government. So monetary policy means always central bank, fiscal policy means government, like subsidies, schemes and all, that comes under the fiscal policy, right? So this is the definition. Now this has two main components. This liquidity adjustment facility has two main components. As I said, how the RBI can regulate the money. Let's understand this in detail. Very important, many times it's been asked in any of the exams. It is called repurchase agreement. These are the banks, these are the companies, and this is RBI. Okay, so understood how the connection works. Repo rate means repurchase agreement. Repurchase agreement, where here we have a lot of bonds. Repo rate means, try to listen it clearly, repo rate means the interest that banks has to pay to RBI. For example, you take loan from bank, car loan, you need to pay 10% interest, right? So if you take 5 lakhs, you need to pay it for 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs something based on the interest. So this repo rate means it is nothing but the interest rate. As I just said, 10% of interest on car loan. This is also an interest rate which banks has to pay to RBI. Banks has to pay to RBI when they are taking the money from RBI. Like how you are taking, companies or individuals, you can take individuals as well. So companies or individuals cannot directly take loans from RBI. They can only take loans from banks. Say for example, you want to buy a car, where you will take the loan. You will take from the banks itself, you will not take from the RBI. And banks, where they will take, they will, whatever the consumers that we have saved here, that will be available. But beyond that, if they want, they will take from the RBI. And when they are taking money from RBI, they need to pay some interest. That interest is decided by the RBI, which is called as a repo rate. Now, I want to ask you one question. If RBI increases the repo rate, for example 5% to 20%, will banks take the money or will not take the money? so again asking you a question, repo rate means interest that banks has to pay to RBI when they are taking the loans from RBI or money from RBI, right? So if this repo rate has been increased by RBI, they have increased the repo rate, the interest rate that banks has to pay. Now will banks take the money or will wait for the some more time when the interest rate get reduced? Yes, Srinath. So you will not, the banks will not take, because if they are taking the loans at very higher interest, for example 10 lakhs they have taken and they need to pay 10-20%, 1/5 of it extra, and will companies will take that? No, companies will not take, because they want to pay more interest and they will wait. So here companies will not take, and then therefore banks has no customers to give loans, so banks also will not take. So here money flow will be reduced in the market. So this is all nothing but the market. Here as the repo rate gets increased by the RBI, the money available with the banks will reduce, and in turn it will also reduce the money with the companies. So in the whole market, the amount of money available will reduce. Most of the money will be stored in the RBI, with RBI itself. Yes, all of you are correct who you have answered. Now, if it is reverse case, repo rate will reduce. It was 5%. Now, interest, you no need to pay 5%, you just pay 1%. Now, what they will do? The banks will rush. Banks will rush that loans are available at just 1%. Let's take money from RBI, and then they will give to companies and other individuals at 3%, 4%, 5%. So here the companies also got for lesser interest, banks also got good profit, that's why banks are working, and RBI role also gets, they have also reduced for the banks, right? So this is how the mechanism works. So whenever there is a increase in repo rate, then banks will not take money, so the market or the flow of liquidity in the market will reduce, and if repo rate get decreased, then banks will take more money and the more money will prevalent in the market, right? So that is about the repo rate. Now reverse repo rate, there is one more mechanism, the reverse repo rate. Here RBI, banks, consumers, in companies and individuals as well. Here in the reverse repo rate, banks has taken the money from RBI. Now in case of reverse repo rate, RBI will take the money. So reverse repo rate, understand, reverse repo rate is the interest paid by RBI to the banks. Reverse repo rate is the interest paid by RBI to the banks when RBI has taken the money from banks. Now what they will do? Banks, they have money, and for what purpose? They want to give loans and make the interest. That's what. Now what RBI will tell? That we will give more interest. They are collecting 10% interest from the companies. Now RBI will tell that we will give 15%. That is called as a repo rate. 15%. We will give 15%. Will bank give loans to these companies or RBI now? So banks will give money to the RBI because it is more interest they are giving, and also it is safer. RBI, there won't be any defaults. The companies may be defaulted, but the RBI will not default. So all the money within the market, this is the market, and all the money with the banks, it will be squeezed by RBI, right? So the amount of money will get reduced in the market. Now tell me, if there is a decrease of reverse repo rate, if there is a decrease in the reverse repo rate, the amount of money available in the market is more or less? Tell me. If the reverse repo rate, RBI, reverse repo rate means interest given by RBI to the banks when they are taking the money. So reverse repo rate has reduced by the RBI, will the amount of money available in the market is more or less? You have to answer this, then only I will be able to know whether this is clear or not. So the amount of money that available in the market is low. Someone is saying, Ranjan. The reverse repo rate means the interest given by RBI to banks, okay, when they are taking the money. Yes, very good, Srinath and Ramanjaneyulu. It is more. See, reverse repo rate has reduced. Banks are collecting 10% interest from companies. Now RBI will say that we will give only 1%. Here reverse repo rate means interest given by RBI to banks. They have reduced to 1%. Will bank use loans to RBI? Because they are getting only 1%. Rather, they will choose the companies, the individuals. So they won't take loans from RBI. So the money, they won't give money to RBI. Banks won't give money to RBI because they are just paying 1%, right? So they are getting more interest from the companies itself. The money will flow. So it will be available in the market itself. It will not reduce. At least it will be stable or it will be more, right? So it is more. Try to understand, right, the mechanism. In case of repo rate, again you have to differentiate. Repo rate means the interest given by banks to RBI when they are taking money. Reverse repo rate means where RBI is paying to banks, the interest is paying to the banks, right? So it should be more. Try to understand it clearly. I have explained it in detail, but you may be, if you are new, then you may be little bit struggling, but anyway, this is very important. In economics, very basic questions are asked from this, right? So now, what is Monetary Policy Committee? In 2014, when there was, in 2013-14, there was a lot of inflation in the economy. We got a GDP growth more than 7.5, 8% also, touching 8%, but because of the heavy GDP growth, the prices of goods were also increased in 2013-14, right? In those decades of 2008 to 2015 approximately, there was a slightly increase in the inflation, the prices, it went for 12%, 14% also. So prices of goods, pen was take 10 rupees, it increased by 12 rupees, 13 rupees approximately. So that's why government, the new government formed in 2014, right? They have formed a Monetary Policy Committee under RBI. Earlier, whenever there is an increase in prices of the goods, RBI is taking as a general case. It is not specific focus. Now what government has done, under RBI itself, they have launched the Monetary Policy Committee separately. It was recommended by Urjit Patel Committee. So this mechanism, monetary policy, was recommended by Urjit Patel Committee, and it was launched from 2015. And this was put forward under RBI Act of 1934. It is not under Banking Regulation Act 1949, but RBI Act 1934. Under RBI Act 1934 itself, there was a new statutory, new provision. Section 45ZB was added. Section 45ZB was added under RBI Act, and Monetary Policy Committee was established, right? And what is the duty of this committee? They need to take care, specifically focus on the inflation. No GDP growth, nothing, no other duty. You just try to negate or regulate the inflation in the economy, control the prices in the economy. That is what the duty of the Monetary Policy Committee. Now how they will take care of this? They will increase the repo or reduce the repo based on the market prevalence. So if there is a more money in the market, there is more inflation, then what government, RBI will do, or monetary policy will do, repo rate will be increased. So now banks are giving just 5% interest to RBI, now it will increase to 10%, you need to give 10%. Then banks will not take money from RBI, and money flow into the market will reduce and inflation will be controlled, right? So this repo rate mechanism is being used by monetary policy to judge the mechanism of flow of the economy. Now come back to the context, a brief manner. We will see Monetary Policy Committee also. Just see here, read the context, that Monetary Policy Committee of Reserve Bank of India, which met on April 3rd, decided to keep the repo rate, the policy rate, unchanged, right? So unchanged means they kept whatever the 6.5% interest, so they have remained. They could have increased it to 7%, or they could have reduced it to 5% to flow more money into the market. But they did not take any measure. They have kept the same measure that was already existing in the last quarter, right? So that is why we are discussing all these things. Now, there are few more facts. who are all the members of the Monetary Policy Committee and all also you need to know, right? So Monetary Policy Committee, who established, under which committee, under which act, what is the duty of Monetary Policy Committee, we have discussed. And who are all the members? RBI Governor is the chairman. So Monetary Policy Committee has 6 members total, this Monetary Policy Committee. Out of that, RBI Governor is the chairman and 2 more members. So total 3, RBI Governor and plus 2, the sub-governors or whoever may be the members of RBI will be 3 members, and then 3 members are appointed by the government. The Ministry of Finance of the government will appoint the 3 members. So total 6 members, and they will vote. Among these 6 persons, they will vote whether they want to increase the repo rate or decrease the repo rate. So based on the voting of these 6 members, the Monetary Policy Committee will announce the repo rate, right? So if there is a tie, because this is an even number, 3 members, 3 members, right? So if it is a tie, then RBI Governor will have the veto, right? So he will have a super hand to, if it is a tie, then he will decide based on his will, right? So this is the Monetary Policy Committee. As I said, it is a 6 member and 3 are from government, 3 are from RBI, and that's how it is decided based on the voting. It is not individual, but it is a voting out of the 6 members, right? So the objective is to reduce the prices, maintain the stability in the economy. That is about the repo rate. Sir, what situation makes RBI to take loans from RBI? See, it is not loan actually. So yes, you may confuse, it is not a loan actually. What they will do, this RBI are just saying to banks that we will pay more interest, you just give us money. RBI does not want any money, just that to reduce the flow of money in the market, they are offering the banks. For what banks are saying? They are there in the economy to give loans and collect the interest. Now RBI itself is saying that we will give you the interest with the 10% or 15% interest. Why will banks give to companies? They are not trustworthy, but RBI is trustworthy and they are giving more interest. Just to squeeze the money, RBI does not want any loans. Just to squeeze the money from the market, RBI will offer with the more interest, right? So that's why they are giving. Next article, CAR-T cell therapy. So this is also a little bit conceptual, and one more article, the last one, a very small one, the facts. So we'll complete this session, right? So President of India, our Honorable Draupadi Murmu, right? Draupadi Murmu has launched the India's first homegrown gene therapy for treatment of the cancer. So you may you may be confused now what is CAR-T and all. We will discuss in detail, don't worry. Just understand that President has launched the first gene therapy, right? First gene therapy to treat the cancer. That is what the article about. Now, what actually is CAR-T cell therapy? Understand this, unlike the chemotherapy, so chemotherapy you might be aware, chemotherapy involves lot of injections, lot of blood transfusion, lot of medicines. There's lot of things to be continuously done, right? So unlike this, what the CAR-T cell therapy do, it just takes the cells, it uses the cells of the patient, whoever is there, the patient who is suffering from cancer, those cells are taken and then they are genetically modified with protein. I'll show you the diagram, you will get more clarity. Just understand that unlike the chemotherapy where there is a lot of medications, injection, blood transfusion, in this CAR-T cell therapy, the cells of those cancer patient will be collected. They are immunized against those processes, and then those cells are sent back to the patient. Those cells will fight against the cancer. So I'll explain you with the diagram, you will understand. Just understand that cancer means it is a unregulated growth of cells in our body. It can be in terms of any part of the body, it can be whole body as well. So cancer means the cells, our whole body is nothing but made up of cells. Millions of cells are made, even the skin, even the finger, everything is made up of cells. So if there is an unregulated growth of cells, there will be a cancer in any part of our body, right? So for that purpose, the CAR-T cell therapy can be used. So let's understand the process first, then you will be able to remember the facts. Okay. First one, let's take this patient is suffering from the cancer, right? So our human body, within our human body we have RBC, white blood cells, and within white blood cells we have a T cells which will fight against the external, our external things that come into our body, right? So this person's blood will be collected, right? So this blood will be collected, and then within blood we have a T cells. Among white blood cells we have a T cells. Those are separated. Patient's blood is collected, and then from patient's blood the T cells are separated and the blood will be sent back to the patient. Now we have a T cells with us. With T cells, for T cells that we have collected from the patient's blood, we will add the chimeric antigen receptor. So understand here, CAR-T, we have seen that CAR-T. So here the full form is chimeric antigen receptor. It is like a protein. It is like how we consume the proteins. It is a type of protein. This protein will be added to the T cells. T cells we have collected from the patient. These proteins will be added to the T cells, right? And these proteins will become, this whole proteins plus T cells will become stronger, and this will be infused back into the patient. This T cell along with the protein attached, they will be mixed, and then this will be given to the patient again. Now as the patient has T cells with added protein called chimeric antigen receptor, this receptor will fight against the cells. It will destroy all the excess cells produced, right? So cancer is nothing but extra cells that are being developed in our body. So patient's blood is collected, T cells are separated, T cells are added with this protein which can destroy those excess cells generated in the human body. Now the patient will be cured from the cancer. So that is how the CAR-T cell therapy. So here T means T cells, CAR means chimeric antigen receptor, a protein, right? So this was sent back to the patient, and accordingly this whole explanation is the same. And who developed this? That is important. This was developed by Indian Institute of Technology Bombay, IIT Bombay, and then Tata Memorial Hospital, and along with the Immune Act. So these three organizations were involved in the development of this indigenously made CAR-T cell therapy, right? So very, very significant one. In the coming few years we are going to achieve a bigger thing, right? Yes, at the end I will discuss countervailing duty and anti-dumping duty, Malawat Ganguly. Let's finish this articles because that is not very part of our discussion, so the students will leave. At the end I will discuss, okay? Last article, Forbes, very factual one, no need to go for in detail, so it is a factual one. Forbes World's Billionaire List 2024 was released by the Forbes, okay? So here the details are the total billionaires that were prevalent in the world is 2781, the total billionaires, right? It has increased by 141 names this year. Now the total combined worth of all the billionaires in the world, the 2781 is 14.2 trillion. The total GDP of the world itself $100 trillion. The total world GDP, and out of that the 14% of the wealth is concentrated with this particular 2700 members, right? So out of that USA has more, 813 members were there from USA, followed by China, they have 473 billionaires, and India stands at third with 200 billionaires. So USA, China and India, that also need to be remembered. And the top 10 rich people of the world, first one is Bernard Arnault, right? So he was from France, and then Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, right? Mark Zuckerberg. Just four names you can remember: Bernard Arnault, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. And from India we have Mukesh Ambani at 9th place. So yes, here you can see here only Indian in top 10 is Mukesh Ambani. So Mukesh Ambani, Gautam Adani and Shiv Nadar, he is the founder of HCL, CEO, right? So one more important fact to be noted here is Nikhil Kamath, who is the founder of Zerodha, right? So the stocks and all. He is the youngest Indian billionaire in the Forbes list. So this name can also be remembered, right? So that is about today's session. Okay, let's solve some MCQs from the discussions that we have made, right? I'll discuss anti-dumping and countervailing duty. Someone have asked this question at the end. I'll discuss, don't worry. Let's solve these questions. So the other students will leave. I will discuss at the end. What is the following statements, which of the following statements regarding political parties in India is incorrect? Is incorrect, they are asking, okay? The Representation of People Act 1951 provides for the registration of political parties. So that is the first statement. Second statement, registration of political parties is carried out by Election Commission. That is the second statement. A national level political party is one which is recognized in 4 or more states. That is the third statement. A party once recognized as a national party can never lose its national party status. Right? So first one, Representation of 1951 provides registration of political parties. We have seen this. And political parties registration is carried out by Election Commission, that is being the duty. National level political party can be termed when it is termed have a state party in 4 or more states. So this is also correct. So it can lose. Earlier we have 8 political parties, now we have only 6. They can, Election Commission time to time can reduce or remove the registration status of those parties. So answer is D. Yes, all 5 of you have answered correctly, even though if we did not discuss this point. Next one, which of the following statements are correct about Agni Prime missile? Agni Prime we have seen. It is a medium range nuclear capable surface to surface ballistic missile. So that is the first statement. It was tested for the first time in 2023. That is the second statement. It was developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. That is the third statement. The missile has a range capability between 10,000 to 10,000 to 20,000 kilometers. So this is the third can be eliminated because it was done by DRDO, right? And fourth is 1000 to 2000. So this is also eliminated, right? Second one, it was tested for the first time in 2023. No, it was tested in 2021. So answer is A. Very good. 3 people have answered it as correct very instantly. Next one, which of the following statements regarding CAR T cell therapy is incorrect? So they are asking about the incorrect about CAR T. CAR T cell therapies use patients' own cells for the treatment, right? Next one, in India, this therapy has been approved for leukemia and then lymphomas for cancer treatments. So this is the second statement. It involves the surgical removal of cancerous tissues. That is the third statement. Chimeric antigen receptor are the proteins that assist the T cells to recognize and attach to specific protein present on the cancer cells. So this is the fourth statement. So this is correct. As I said, protein will attach to the T cells and then they will destroy the cells, right? So this is the correct statement. CAR T cell therapies use patients' own cells. Yes, T cells they are going to use. In India, they are approved for leukemia and lymphomas. So this may be doubt. Let's see the third statement, you will understand. It involves surgical removal of cancerous tissues. No, it does not. Surgical means we ourselves are removing through operation. There is no such thing. Only we are introducing the protein under the T cells and they themselves are destroying. So there is no such surgical treatment. So C is wrong and hence is correct. So this was approved by Indian government, right? So that is the answer for the third question. Next one, if RBI decides to adopt a expansionary monetary policy, expansionary means more money into the market, making available the more money into the market. Expansionary means. Contractionary means reducing the money into the market. Which of the following it would not do? This was a previous question of UPSC. Right? So RBI has decided to expand the policy, the money into the market. What it will not do? Reducing the existing repo rate. So if repo rate is reduced, that means interest to be collected by RBI from banks will be less. So that means what? There will be more money. Understand here, reducing the excess repo rate, RBI and then banks. Reducing means the banks can pay very less amount of interest rate. So this will be more money. So this will avail more money into the market. But what it would not do is asked by the the question. Increase the existing reverse repo rate. So reverse repo rate means what RBI gives to the banks. So if reverse repo rate is increased, banks will take more money because RBI is giving more interest. So this will also increase the money. So this is, both are done to expand the money. Increase the existing repo rate. So if repo rate is increased, that means what? More interest has to be paid by the banks to the RBI. So it will reduce the money in the market. So this will not be done by the RBI, right? So we got the answer. For 4, I don't know why D and B were also answered, maybe some confusion. So try to understand, this is a very conceptual one. Take paper, example how it works. So which it would not do, they are asking. Both above 2 will enhance the money in the market, that is what wanted, but they are asking what not to do. So if repo rate is increased, the amount of money will be reduced in the market. So RBI will not do this. C is the answer. So decreasing the existing reverse repo, the same thing will happen. Next one, which of the following statements is correct regarding Monetary Policy Committee? This is also asked from UPSC 2017 prelims. It decides RBI benchmark interest rates. Benchmark here means repo rate only. So this is the first statement. It is 12-member body including governor of RBI and reconstituted every year. So that is the second statement. It functions under the chairmanship of Union Finance Minister. So this is the fifth question. First one, this is not a 12-member, as I said, it is just a 6-member body, right? So this can be easily eliminated. 2 should be eliminated. Next, it is functions under the chairmanship of Finance Minister. No, it is functions under the RBI governor. So that is also wrong. Now, yes, RBI benchmark interest rates will be regulated through monetary policy. So yes, this is an easy question. Most of you have answered it. Last question for today. With reference to green hydrogen, consider the following statements. This was asked in UPSC 2023, that is last year, about the green hydrogen. It can be used directly as a fuel for internal combustion. That is the first statement. It can be blended with natural gas and used as a fuel for heat or power generation. That is the second statement. Third statement, it can be used in the hydrogen fuel cell to run the vehicles. So that is the third statement. First one, as I said in the discussion itself when I am showing the diagram. So it can be directly used in the internal combustion engines as a fuel. Next one, first statement is correct. It can be blended with natural gas. Yes, it can be mixed with the natural gas to generate the power. So second statement is also correct. It can be used in the hydrogen fuel cell to run the vehicles. Yes, it can also use as a hydrogen fuel. So answer is D, 1, 2, 3, right? So this is of today's session. So the students who are clear with this, you can leave. And one student have asked about the difference between countervailing duty and anti-dumping duty, right? So this is India, this is China, okay? Here, in case of anti-dumping duty, the goods that are produced, are in China are being dumped into India with a very least price. So dumping is happening in a bulk manner. China is saying to the producers that we will give subsidies, so you just give it for least price. So they have produced it for 10 rupees. They are produced one pen, all these goods for 10 rupees. Now they are selling it in India for 5 rupees only. 5 rupees only. So they are dumping all the goods. Take example of toys, which has happened. They are dumping all the goods in India, right, for 5 rupees only. Earlier it was 10. So all the people will not buy Indian goods because they are costly. They will buy the Chinese goods. They are getting for 5 rupees only. So when the Indian government tax it as plus 5 rupees, right? So they are saying that we are increasing the 100% tax, so it will become 10 rupees in India. Now Indians won't buy this in India or Chinese goods because the price is same. It was 10 rupees and even in India it is getting for 10 rupees. So they will prefer the Indian goods. So this tax levied by India to against the any dumping of goods from China, that is called as the anti-dumping duty, right? So that is called as the anti-dumping duty. So it is against the dumping. Sir, you may ask, sir, why they are sending it for 5 rupees only? They will become lost. I mean, the producers will become loose, right? Yes, initially they will be lost, but after 2-3 years, all the producers in India will go away because the Chinese goods are there. After 2 years, they will increase it to 20 rupees, 30 rupees, and we have no option, but we have to buy, right? So those same goods. That is called as the anti-dumping duty. Yes, like phones, whatever may be. So that is called as an anti-dumping duty. Now, countervailing duty. So countervailing duty starts from here itself, from imports itself. They won't come into the market itself. So here in case of anti-dumping, all the goods came into India. Now government is levying as a tax. In case of countervailing, to counter the measures taken by China. Now what China will do? They will not dump all the goods for cheaper prices. Rather, China government will give more subsidies for certain goods like toys, which was done, or maybe some certain specific goods, chappals or electronics, whatever. Here China government is not allowing after the dumping for 5 rupees or 10 rupees, even before producing itself. Here all the goods has been already produced and they are being dumped into India. Now India government is raising the taxes. But in case of countervailing, China has given subsidy that inputs, if you want to make chappals, the rubber is needed, leather is needed, right? So those inputs are given with a lot of subsidies by the Chinese government. Now all the companies in China will try to produce more of the leather goods because they are getting lot of subsidies. To counter these government subsidies, then Indian government will levy against those subsidies. That is called as the countervailing. So in case of countervailing, Indian government is countering the subsidies given by the Chinese government. In case of anti-dumping, Indian government is levying taxes on dumping on masses. Even after production, they are selling it for cheaper prices. Indian government is levying against the dumping, not about the Chinese subsidies. Only if it is countering subsidies of the government, then it is called as countervailing, and if it is against the mass dumping of goods in India, that is called as anti-dumping, right? So that is of today's session. I hope it is a bit lengthy because of there is lot of concepts involved. It took very less time for me to prepare PPT, but the concept to be explained is very huge. That's why it is a lengthy session. But anyway, there will be lot of questions. Try to sit and understand the concepts. It will be really helpful for you to answer the questions. So that's all from today's session. Have a great evening.